vibes of the Central music, happening, interviews, and all aspects of Carnival. Papa Central, yes, Papa Central. It's tonight, 30 a.m. Monday to Friday with Teddy Francis and Tino. Papa Central beginning mid-19 on the Caribbean Sound. Sponsored by the Carnival Planning and Management Committee, the Carnival Music Management Committee, Aerospace, the Computer Store, Quartz, Bringing Value Hall, and Fevrier Novelties. Papa Central, yeah!
This and every Sunday, let me take you back. I'm Miguel Fevrier, and I'll be your guide through the sounds that never get old. It's Golden Grooves, 2 hours of soulful classics, slow jams, and stories behind the music you love. Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m., only on RCI. Let's make your Sunday afternoon feel real good.
I see you standing there. Feel the vibes, embody the spirit. Lucian Carnival, nothing sweeter than that.
But imagine, sometimes feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at that Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you. Provide funding. Yes, sister, provide funding. Plus training to run your business profitably. Yo, go online now to start living the solution dream. Just one click and boom, you're in business.
Good afternoon, St. Lucia, and welcome to another edition of Youth Unplugged here on RCI 101.1 FM, the Caribbean Sound. Now, today's guest is someone who wears many hats and wears them well. He's a marketing strategist, digital lecturer, and the founder of P1 Marketing, a solution agency helping individuals, businesses, and organizations bring their stories to life online with creativity and purpose. I must also add that he is a media colleague. He is a strong advocate for consumer rights as well. As the public relations officer of the National Consumer Association and a member of the inaugural Consumer Protection Council, he's helped bridge the gap between consumers and businesses, pushing for fair treatment and meaningful resolutions. Whether it's through brand building or policy advocacy, Phil brings strategy, heart, and storytelling to the table. And today, we'll hear how it all comes together in his work and mission, and of course, how the youth economy, our title sponsor, has played a role in shaping his business. So let's welcome Phil to the show. Phil, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Miguel. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. Now, before we get into the hard questions, just a bit of the easy ones, a bit of your background, where you grew up, what school you went to, and of course, how you got into how the marketing thing first fit on your radar.
For sure. Well, my name is my official government name, I will not say, but I've rebranded to Phil Henderson, as most people know me. I went to Camille Henry Memorial School just across the road from where we are.
Bushy school back in our days.
I know, with the nice pink uniform. And they used to fight on the pink now, but Carnival is all about pink. But anyway, grew up in La Prairie. Marketing came about where I noticed that.
Where you missed the secondary school?
What I missed? Leones. Leones. No, that's the best.
That's College of Girls. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, man. So the marketing thing came about maybe about 11 years ago. I realized that Facebook was a way to communicate with people. Businesses could communicate with each other and with its customers for cheaper than the other platforms. So organizations that didn't have a big budget would have a lot of fun on Facebook, and Instagram was just starting up in email marketing, and that's really where it began for me.
All right. And how old are you, just on the record?
I am still within the youth age legally.
So you're 34 going 35.
Whatever you say.
No, but you have to qualify.
I qualify.
You qualify.
I qualify.
Okay. That said, though, cheaper. But obviously, it's cheaper for those businesses, but it still required a skilled
Of
professional.
course, of
So,
course.
in terms of getting into the digital marketing field, was there any formal training that you encountered or you endeavored?
I had on the job training. My job was not directly marketing. My job was like business development, but I had the responsibility for marketing. You know, when you're really good at your job, they're like, "I will do this too." Um, and I recognized the platforms were there, and then I started using them. And then one thing led to another. I started getting known within that industry for being able to use it effectively. And then I started, this is very early on before these things were even accredited. So I started doing different Google courses, and Coursera had some stuff, Udemy had some stuff. And then in 20, I opened a business officially in 2019 after freelancing for about 5 years. And then
COVID came, so that would have really helped you, though.
so before I even get to COVID, COVID was the best thing to happen for me business wise. But before I even got to that, I did a course at UE. I noticed that UE had a course, and I was like, "Huh, UE has a course." The CPE things, right? We did for like 3 months, and then I did that with Leslie Collymore, who taught me, and Buffy. Buffy, yeah, Buffy is a G. And I did that, and that really gave me the structure I needed for the knowledge, and I just took it from there. And then COVID came, and COVID was, because for years I was preaching, guys, online is not just more effective; it reaches more people in a shorter space of time. It's more affordable. Of course, the barrier to entry, you need to have the skills to put your stuff online because you deal with more media formats. But it and you get analytics. So I was preaching this for years and nobody taking you on. COVID came, and then now it's the only way. It's in our part of the world, the US and the bigger countries were way ahead. But in this part of the world, it was the only way to communicate.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because as much as I have a presence online, for me personally, I started off with, of course, the ICQs, high fives, and going to Facebook, going to Facebook. But Facebook has remained the primary social media platform for me. So sometimes when you're old school, it's kind of hard to get out to have multiple social media accounts, Instagram. I mean, I have two Instagrams and two Twitters and things, one for my business, but it's hard for me to manage those things myself. So you mentioned the skill. It becoming an everyday thing or ubiquitous in the sense of online and digital marketing is the way to go. But do you see that as totally making the other forms of marketing obsolete?
No, I would never say so. I mean, I'm on radio now. And part of the purpose is what I'm doing is getting my message out there to other people who may not hear it on socials. Not everybody is on social. Not everybody consumes social in the same way. And so I would never say until the other platforms are obsolete, until there's a statistic that says less than 10% of people consume these platforms, it's still viable to put your content on radio where you can put it on television, put it on newspapers, put it on billboards, because we do all these other things, We do create radio ads and TV ads and all these things. But our concentration is digital. But if you have the budget for TV, call me.
Well, I have a question to ask. It feels kind of personal to me as a media professional, but I'll ask you that later. But we did speak about your varying skills and areas. So your work bridges marketing, education, and consumer advocacy is something quite apart from what you do full time. How do you balance all these roles, and what ties them all together for you?
The first thing is I think I have a strong sense of community. I want to give back. I want to create things that outlive me. So whatever I'm doing, I want it to pass on to those around me, and I want those that are around me, and for those to come, not have to go through the same things that I went through. So that's like my modus operandi. Just want to make things better for those around, for myself first, then those around me, and take it from there. You mentioned balance. I will say, as an entrepreneur, you have none of that. To believe that you will have balance anytime within the first few years, unless you have a silver or even a golden spoon, and even if you have passion behind what you want to do, you will have no balance. So understand that. So my family understands that. My daughters understands that.
How many daughters do you have?
Two.
Hey.
Two. Hey. Two lovely.
Go that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So they understand that. My coworkers and friends is something that I don't know. Everybody I know is through work. My personal friends have all fallen away. Just because it's very difficult to maintain relationships, and not through any fault of theirs. It's very difficult to maintain relationships when you have such a passion for what you are doing,
But you
and
see that.
and your partner needs to understand that as well.
Yeah, you see that. But if you're right, if you look at the friendships you form over the years, they're usually through mutual interests. So
Yes.
as you get older, interests they actually
Yes.
separate unless
Yeah.
you really have that thing. Now you said that it's to strike the balance. So are you saying that when I see you, we're in May, right?
Mhm.
In 2 months, when I see you in a carnival costume, you're actually working, you're not having you're not balancing that thing.
So as an entrepreneur, I have a team, right? So I'm consuming. I'm a prosumer. I consume while other members of my team are around. And while I mention my team, shout out to Brandon, our senior content creator. Shout out to Akizi, who I know is listening, our social media officer. They are out in our office on Bridge Street.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not jumping this year. I'm not jumping
You're not
this
jumping
year.
this
Not
year?
this year.
Yeah, I
No.
see that every year, but I always end up with a camera and a piece of a costume.
I might be shooting this year, but I'm not
I'm
jumping
always
this year.
shooting every year. You know? I'm never jumping. All right, so we already spoke about how P1 marketing started essentially.
Yes.
What sets it apart from others in the local and regional digital space?
One of
Host
the
yourself.
one of the things that makes us excellent and that we stand apart from the others is that we truly have a passion behind what we do. So when you have a job, right? And some people just come to work, some people have bills to pay, and we acknowledge that. Some people want to block a hole, as we just say. But myself and my members of the team, yes, of course, all that is necessary, but we truly have a passion. This is what we want to do. This is not something we stumbled upon because, it pays bills or it's sexy, because marketing is very attractive and sexy, but we have a passion. So we take on passion projects. We'll help clients. They have no money. They can't pay us. They're paying us for 3-4 months. We still are doing the work just the same. Not to say that this is an invitation to anybody to do it, but we just truly want to see, and especially when we you meet up a client, right? They have a business idea, they have the product or the service, and all they need is just to communicate effectively with the right people at the right time on the right platform, and then it just changes their life and changes their business and helps them grow and teaches them a lot. And so we just understand that, and that's really what it is. It's not a job for us. It's not. It's a passion. Everything is putting passion behind it, and that's what the P in P1 is for. Passion, persistence, power, prosperity. Any positive word that starts with A.
That's what I was
Yes,
gonna
yes,
say.
yeah.
So this segues nicely based on what you said, segues nicely into your engagement with the Youth Economy Agency.
Oh, let me tell you,
And
I'm free if you want to be ambassador.
brother, speak, just speak. I don't even have to ask you the question. Tell me how you stumbled across them and what the experience has been like for you.
So I always say I am not a politically aligned person. That's just me personally. I'll call a spade on either side, or if they have 10 sides, I'll approach 10 sides the same. But I had the Honorable Philip J. Pierre at the time. I had this television show back during COVID time. We had nothing to do, so yeah.
That's how they start,
And he came. He was in the opposition at the time, and he came and he mentioned the Youth Economy Agency. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, politicians being politicians. He got in office. I saw it came to light. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. A politician keeping their promise. That's very interesting. So I just paid attention because it fell in line with what I would want. And then I went to this conference called Money and Mimosas, put on somewhere in the north, where they just had seasoned entrepreneurs, business mixer kind of thing. And then I saw the Youth Economy had a booth there. I registered. I started talking to the people, tried to get a sense of what's happening. And then my mom, all praises to my mom, let me tell you, this lady is the biggest advocate of her kids. She went to the office when they opened up, and my mom started talking about my business more than I could advocate for my own business.
Give her a marketing job.
I cannot afford her. I can't. And they were just so intrigued. They were like, but this lady is speaking so highly of this person, as all parents generally do.
Not my father.
You know what? I got in trouble for this the last time, so I'll digress. Let me just leave the paternal side out of it. Anyway, so they just called and just wanted to meet this person, and when I started explaining what I do and how I do it, they were just intrigued. And I signed up for some courses. Um, so I don't know if I am still the only person, but I have a bit of a unique position at the youth economy because I've taught digital marketing there, and I'm also a student there
There.
because I believe you are a student always, and any opportunity you could get to learn something, learn it. Miguel, I did a course called Business Planning with Peter Lord, and if I could call him the
The Lord, yeah.
Honorable Peter Lord, I
From
would.
Commerce, he was the PSL or
Right.
Commerce or Director of Trade or something like that. Commerce,
Something.
Yeah.
And for those weeks that I sat in that class, this man showed me that where I think I am, and it wasn't a personal thing, he was just teaching. And in terms of, he showed me where I think I am, if I can apply a proper structure, plan for your business, put projections together, ensure there's proper financial management, proper fiscal responsibility, growing up the team in an appropriate way, I realized, this is the most blessed thing that I could have asked for. And that course changed my life. And I'll tell anybody that. Forget all the marketing knowledge that I had. Forget all the passion that I have towards my job. If you have no structure behind your business, it will inevitably fall.
Of course, even and secondary to what you said, forget this, even forget the grants that the Youth Economy Agency gives you, because I think
Yes.
the knowledge is even more valuable.
Then I would have, and I was speaking as a student. Speaking as a teacher, I would tell my students in the digital marketing course, guys, where else in the world, maybe it exists, but at least in St. Lucia, where else in St. Lucia would you get a grant or you'd get an opportunity for a grant for your business to do something you supposedly like to do, and then also get the knowledge to execute it? So you're getting, literally, I go and speak plain, you're getting paid to learn how to make money. It's the complete opposite of the system that we know. You pay for knowledge. But in this small ecosystem, you get paid or you get access to funding or networking or opportunities, and he gives opportunities to sell your products or come Constitution Park, or they put you in this business mixer, they put you in these things. And I'm thinking, man, where was this type of thing when I started? My business would have been 10 times further had I started my business after the course I did with you.
Well, talk about you. I'm over 40. I've been cursing the Prime Minister every day for not coming in early and putting that thing together.
And maybe I wasn't as cognizant of these things when I was younger, but I haven't seen a heard of a program since. And to see that it is effective. Yes, there are hills and valleys and everything. Nothing is perfect. Things can always be optimized, but this opportunity is once in a lifetime to me. It feels like that. And I would encourage anybody to contact the Youth Economy Agency. Go there, see what courses you can do. If you want to do marketing, great. You want to do sales, great. You want to do product development, great. You want to do finance and bookkeeping.
That's the amazing thing about it. There's so many options that can be applied
And
to your business.
I feel like Youth Economy is paying me, but full disclosure, Youth Economy is not paying me to say what
I
I'm
was
saying.
about to say that they should have hired you to do the marketing for them, because so far you've done the best marketing for Youth Economy. I'm talking about their staff, but my guests who have been clients, you've expounded the best.
I'm just an advocate of you, and I'll do it for free till my lungs run out of breath. But you mentioned something, Miguel. You see, the people, the function of the youth economy is what it is. But if whomever was responsible for picking these people, if these people didn't have passion, so the structure exists. Prime Minister and in his wisdom put together the structure. Great. But now you also need people of passion who care about the youth. Man, I meet these people and I see them doing the jobs that it's just a job. But they go out there, they call their clients, they make sure that you participate in this. They meet you, they advise you accordingly. And if these people like Olivia did not have so much passion behind her job, if Janelle didn't have so much passion behind their job, and Crystal and Brian, who see you now, and Mr. Leos.
I worked with Brian at Bank of Solution for years. And what you describe is the person I know Brian to be from. His mother, his mom was Miss V, is the most amazing. But this is the kind of person I know Brian, Crystal, Thomas, Mr. Leos
Yes,
to
Mr.
be.
Leos, shout out to Mr. Leos.
You know, so you're right about that. You need to. It's all fine that the functions be positive, and if you don't have the right people running it, you will not get the results that you
Yeah,
want.
because you could have had ye as it is, right? You could have had youth economy as it is, the same structure, the same grant, same financing, all that. But if you didn't have the people that had the same passion, it would have just been a fly by night thing.
Yes,
Entrepreneurs come, they get their grant,
they gone. You don't
they
know
gone. You don't know what
happens
they're
with
doing.
it.
They buy groceries with it. Nobody follows up. They don't get training. They're not educated. They don't have opportunities
Mm-hmm.
to apply the knowledge that they would have gained. So, I mean, I know this was supposed to be a segment about
About you, I
me,
was about to say
but
now it's about you. So,
I have no problem with advocating for you any
well,
day of the
you
week,
know what,
and they know that.
Crystal, Brian, Mr. Leos, Olivia, I'm going to send a bill to you guys because we've extended it. All right, I'll just say, okay, language and messaging, which is the thing I wanted to come to
Mm.
because I listened to adverts as of late, and I actually wanted to do a write up on it. AI versus AI, pound
Mhm.
for pound. And when I say AI, I talk about Allen Iverson.
Mhm.
When they say he was the best pound for pound basketball, he's like
Mhm.
versus AI. Cannot really replace. I'm listening. All of a sudden, every other advert I hear is artificial intelligence generated. The
Mhm.
voice. Do you
Mhm.
think that really is effective? Because for me, I don't feel anything hearing it except annoyance.
Mhm.
That this is there's no voice that's really appealing to you using terms that you can identify. How do you think?
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I think AI is in. I'm not Allen Iverson. I'm a basketball fan too, but I think AI is a bridge, and it will help. It is helping people to communicate more efficiently.
The
In terms,
non-lazy ones, those who just don't go on chat GPT and just say, I want this and that's and get it.
let me finish my thought, and I'll add a pound on that. Efficiently, right? Because you now work quicker.
Mhm.
But unless you know what you are doing, unless you have the knowledge behind the thing, then you are not as effective. And these are two very important words. There's efficiency and there's effectiveness. You do need the knowledge to ensure that your message is efficient or the work is efficient, but also effective.
Mhm.
And we have a little not a little, but a short reel, news marketing news reel we do every week. Akizi is the one who does it. So anyone go to P1 Marketing to see what it's called, is what it is, but
We'll
it's
put your
called
social media handles on
sure,
there
sure, sure.
when we're ready. Yeah.
But it's called Marketing in a Minute, and in a minute we try to give rapid fire marketing news. And one of the things that we were complaining about last week is that there was this study done earlier this year where they discovered that 54% of all LinkedIn captions are AI
Yeah,
generated.
generated.
54%. That was earlier this year, and ChatGPT has
Wow.
gotten some updates since, so it's
Wow.
probably
Yeah, yeah.
70 by now.
I have a paid account.
I mean, of course, I have a paid account, but still. And it made me think like you can't use it to augment your work. I have no issue with them augmenting it, but taking over
Complete function.
complete function, that's where it gets a little bit ticklish. So I use it very often. My team uses it. I train my team to use it because it's great. But we need to toe the line a little bit and make sure it does what it's supposed to do. In addition to that, the other thing I have to say is that AI, and I was having a conversation about that yesterday, but AI is not really trained, especially for the voice part of it. It's not trained on our
There
people.
you go.
So our demographics are not going to be reflective in the grander scheme of AI anytime soon. That's a disadvantage and an advantage.
But if I ask
Presents an
ChatGPT to
opportunity,
write me something in Lucian language, it does it, in terms of our vernacular and everything, it does it.
but the voice,
It wouldn't know the
it doesn't
voice.
have the voice yet.
Not yet.
Yet.
And that's and this is what it goes back to what you're saying about um if you know it can augment your work, but if you don't know what you're about, it's gonna mess you
Yeah,
up
it's
over
going to mess
because
you up.
I've spotted so many mistakes, even from a paid version of
Mhm,
ChatGPT. So if you're
mhm.
not aware and you're not monitoring and realize that because they just pick sources up from the internet.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
So
And it interprets things in its own way. And if you don't have I say this with AI, especially with like text generation, if you don't have the full breadth of knowledge
mhm.
of what you are doing, then it will lead you down astray. Not through it's not a it thing leading you down astray
No, no, no.
intentionally, but you cannot rely on it in its
You need to know.
entirety.
You need to know
Know
what
what
you're
you're
about.
talking about.
Which
Know
comes
what you're
back to
talking
my
about.
point: AI versus AI. And I pound for pound, the human AI cannot beat. It cannot beat human input.
Nah.
It cannot human intelligence. All right. So we still have a few now. Let's get into your okay. As someone who lectures in digital media, what are the biggest gaps you've noticed in how young creatives or entrepreneurs approach the digital world?
Confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think no, not even digital media and anything. Business, jobs, confidence is something that is lacking, and men too. Men need a greater sense of confidence and a greater sense of
Thank you.
self. Know who you are and put out and emanate your true masculine energy. Don't be afraid of it. I think before we even get to marketing or media or any other, I think that that's a gap that we need to remember who we are as men and act accordingly, be providers, be protectors, be persistent in our passions and purposes. Sorry, P words. It's
P words.
just
That's fine.
right.
I will disclose it here now. There's no accident that you're here. When I look at the list of clients
Mm,
or potential um guests and who are clients of the Youth Economy Agency, I remarked that from the very onset that the females far outweigh the men as of late. Not as of late on that list alone, and it
mhm.
tells you how many women. And that's, I know personally, women tend to be the ones right now you speak to, or, oh, I'm studying, I'm in
Mhm,
school, they're doing
mhm,
something online, or they're starting a business. So we need to change that.
mhm.
That's right. And we need examples like you in that light. Excuse me. Let's go to NCA and
Mm.
your role in the NCA. You've served as PRO of the National Consumers
On my
Association.
second year,
You're in your
probably
second year. Oh,
second tenure. So
second
I've
tenure,
done
because
I've done
I
two
remember.
years
So
already,
it's
and yeah,
it's Mrs. Lewis. Dr. Lewis is
Dr.
still
Lewis
the
is president.
president,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, what are some of the key issues facing St. Lucian consumers today?
Um,
Don't tell me they don't know their rights. We know that part
I
already.
was about to, I was about to come and say that the consumers, they often don't know their rights, really and truly. I think awareness. So a few things. NCA is there as an advocacy group to, bad definition, but to advocate for the rights of the consumer, right? So I'm just going to say that in a nutshell. But one of the things that I'm not sure if it was, I'm not going to get into political stuff, but one of the things that happened within this administration is that they put together the Consumer Protection Council, which I was a former member of. My tenure just expired like 2 months ago. It was the first of its kind, and it was a place where cases could actually be reviewed.
Because the bill was just passed somewhere within the
2022,
last,
right?
right?
So with the Consumer Protection Bill, Consumer Protection Act, sorry, you can, if you have a case where an item that you purchased or a service that you purchased is not fit for purpose,
Mhm.
then you can find a form of redress.
Mhm.
And I try to brand it within the 3 R's. You could either get a replacement, you could either get a refund, or you could either get the thing repaired. So with the 3 R's, just keep that in mind that there is a way out. Too many times, and I think that may lead into the second point. But sometimes, as a people, we are a little too docile.
Mhm.
We are a little too. That happened to me. I just leave it now. Nah, man. Stand up for yourself. You work hard to earn this money, to purchase this thing, to use this thing, to buy this thing, and then it doesn't work. You buy a fan, you buy a pair of headphones, you buy a chair, you buy a car. There are cases that the NCA has dealt with that person buy a brand new car and the car has an issue and the dealer doesn't want to deal with it. So there's no item too big or too small for you to get your form of redress on. And that's kind of one of the things that we need to push more. And as a people, now I'm a supplier and I'm also a consumer. So
You've seen both
it's
sides of
I
the coin.
I think of both sides and I think of the duality and everything. And so you need to realize that hey, there is a structure. Before maybe there was not, or it wasn't as
Yeah.
visible or accessible, but there's a structure. You can go onto the NCA website, you can file your case right there. There's a database of cases. Um, in the There's information like what industry, there's information like what business it's from, what type of product, and so on. You could go to Consumer Protection Council, downstairs well, not the council, go to Consumer Affairs,
Mhm.
and Consumer Affairs will do the investigations. And if it needs to go to the Protection Council, it will.
Yes, we'll go.
Protection Council for mediation will look at both sides and help both sides
resolution.
come to some sort of resolution.
Okay. Before we get into our rapid fire
Mhm.
questions, we're going to steal about 2-3 minutes from Marie. Marie, I know she wouldn't mind. Marie has wants a little break before she comes back. But the last in our general questions is what advice do you have for young people trying to make their mark, whether in marketing, media, or public service?
Believe in yourself. You are greater than you tell yourself that you are. I just had this conversation with Joan and Dujo of All Gas yesterday, and he was saying that he's been all over the world. And Dujo, sorry for stealing your thought, but it resonated with me. He's been all over the world, and he's hired just about every type of ethnicity that there is and dealt with every kind of people. And he comes back to say St. Lucians are one of the brightest set of people that he has ever encountered with. And if we do that, be disciplined, with what we are doing, focus on what we are doing, stop getting distracted by the Friday night lights, focus, discipline, and believe in yourself, and you'll be fine.
All right. Saying good luck to Auntie Solar James and Ava Shalmine. Ava says, Ye is the best.
Big up, Eva.
Oh, that's one of your people?
I'll not say who she is to me, but she makes up great cheesecake. So just look up Bell's
Ooh,
Bakery
Ava
on
Cheesecake.
Instagram. Just check
Oh,
out. her some
okay.
cheesecake.
Ava, hit me up on Facebook. Before we even get in there, let's just call out your social media handles so that I'll put it on the page and people can listen to as well.
Sure. P1
P1.
Marketing
Uh-huh.
Solutions. And if you'd like to see
That's on just a full no space. That's at Instagram.
Instagram P1 Marketing Solutions.
Okay,
find
P1
it.
Marketing Solutions. Uh-huh. That's it.
Yeah. I was saying if anybody wants to see the work that we do,
Mm-hmm.
any social media platform, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, search the hashtag presence by P1.
Presence by P1. Hashtag presence by
P1. And you'll find most of the work that we've done right there.
All right. I almost forgot how to spell presence. Okay, our rapid fire questions is 3:31. We're gonna rapid fire questions. So at the top of your head, you're gonna answer these questions, right?
Okay.
Digital trends or timeless messaging?
Trends.
Trends?
Yeah.
All right. Press release or podcast?
Podcast.
Why?
You can communicate more.
Yeah. Most powerful word in the English language?
Presence.
Whoa. Most underrated platform for Caribbean creatives?
Emails.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh boy, listen, I have so many email accounts and all of them full. And you add the
Let me tell you, email marketing is such an amazing. And if you say creatives, then it depends on the demographic. But just generally, an underrated marketing platform is email marketing.
it's email marketing.
Yeah, return on investment is crazy.
You know what I think it is? I think that the people's annoyance with marketing, email marketing, is that it started from the moment email became so
Commercial.
commercial and common as well.
Yeah.
From the onset, the first things you got was those fake marketing things. So
Yes.
people are wary when they see things. Even my bank.
Let me give you my 2 cents on that because I get to see the analytics behind it. So if you send out an email blast to 5,000 people and 20 people answer and you're selling a $200 product,
20 by 2.
all you need, you send it to 5,000, let's say 4,880 say, yeah, this is annoying, but 20 people buy the product.
Oh, damn. You're currently doing my marketing degree. I need to come to you,
Lovely.
right? All right. So we have two more. Consumer or creator? Which are you first?
Creator. I'm a
Really?
creative or not.
Yeah, creator not. But for you to be able to create, you are the consumer. Anyway. One word that describes your journey so far.
Blessed.
Blessed? I wanted to give a P by you.
It didn't, but blessed.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so everyone said, okay, let me see if we have any. David Wells says you're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you very
All
much,
right.
David.
And folks, I forgot to give the platform the number for our WhatsApp platform so you could have joined us. But then unfortunately, we have one person said, "I'll be with you," as I said so. Big up to Phil coming from Action Time.
Oh, Action Time is my brother. I will have to call him when I done.
All right,
Action Time is my brother.
Barnes Nelson.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Big up
good
Action Time.
afternoon,
Go
my
check out.
brother.
He will have a new song. Sorry, I put it out. He'll have a new song in the near future. I won't say when, but big up Action
Oh,
Time.
but looks like our minds in there anyway. Anyway, folks, this has been Youth Unplugged. Unfortunately, I know Phil had a lot to say, and there's a lot I wanted to ask him. So maybe we might have him later on in the year. Maybe one of his staff here along with your colleagues. He is the owner, the proprietor of P1 Marketing, among many other things, and his primary function and role is digital marketing. And you could check him out at presence by P1. You get some of his work, or at P1 Marketing Solutions. That is the letter P, the number 1. Marketing is spelled as it always is, and solutions as well. He's also a client of the Youth Economy Agency, and I'm sure he'll have much to tell you young people who want any advice on how they could go about starting their businesses and, of course, marketing their businesses. through the Youth Economy Agency. But so for now, this is Miguel Fevrier, and of course, my guest Phil Henderson saying goodbye. And I will be on this Sunday from 3 p.m. as usual for Golden Grooves, your trip down memory lane. And next Wednesday for Letla, and of course, Thursdays for Youth Economy, Youth, Youth Unplugged, sponsored by the Youth Economy Agency. So for now, goodbye. Andy Angel Charmaine Wells says, big up my son. Your mom?
Big up, mommy.
Ah, there we go. Wait, your Charmaine?
Yeah.
We go talk. All right. Okay. Good afternoon, mommy. And your son had the best things to say about you. He thinks that you're the marketing guru, not him. So I think he
Facts.
didn't get far.
Facts.
All right. So goodbye, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Marine will be here in a minute.
But imagine, sometimes it's feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at that Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you, provide funding. Yes,